Her name is Catherine Getzy, okay? And Kat is the phenomenal influencer and educator behind CatGPT. Hi, Kat.
Hi. Oh, I'm sneaking up next to you, sorry.
Yeah. Please. Catherine, welcome. I'm sure that
you.
people are so excited about our conversation today.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. We had a really cute off-camera moment, so I'm happy to bring this energy on camera. All right, can we get into it, Catherine?
Let's do it.
All right, you've built a platform that doesn't just talk about AI, it disarms it. You give people the permission to be curious, confused, and still capable. Where did that clarity meets compassion communication style come from?
I think, Sophia kind of alluded to it earlier too, but if you're genuinely just a curious person and you care about people and you want to get to know people, I think that's where it really kind of comes down to for me.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky I started being in front of the camera from a pretty young age, so I got comfortable with that, and so I'm able to kind of let that melt away quite quickly and just have it be about, the person that I'm talking to or the story that I'm trying to tell.
Love that. So you're not camera shy.
No, I'm not here.
Okay. and I just want to dive into that for a moment. You said you got into the camera at a very young age.
Yeah.
Were you like a theater kid, or did you just hop online very early?
Yeah, it was more like I would make little skits with my siblings.
Oh, love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like elementary school, and then in high school I was very lucky because the high school that I went to had this pretty well-funded like high school television program.
Yes.
So we would just like run around the school with cameras, getting in trouble, making videos, and then like it would get published on the school website.
Love that.
Yeah.
Listen, follow curiosity, follow the arts,
Yes.
play with your siblings. Okay, now you've worked on huge, complex AI initiatives, right? And now you're breaking them down for everyday people in 60-second videos. When did you realize your power wasn't just in what you knew, but how you translated it?
I think once I realized that my superpower isn't actually tech, it's being able to explain tech and tell stories was the moment everything changed for me. I wish I realized it sooner, to be honest. The way that kind of manifested initially when I was in the corporate world was in finding myself in positions where I was sort of acting like that bridge. So like for one example, I was the head of technical operations at a medium-sized startup, and my entire team's job was to be the bridge between the technical and the non-technical side. But my impact only went as far as the like 150-person organization.
Yeah.
When I became a content creator, then now my reach is the world, and I can kind of bridge that gap for anybody who I can hook in the first 3 seconds of a video.
It sounds like you had that identity shift that a lot of creators have, but you kind of embraced it and leaned into it.
Yeah, and again, I just wish I had it sooner because I feel like once I realized that I'm like, wait, I don't need to run away from the camera, like actually being in front of it is a place where I thrive, then I just like fully leaned in, and it's been good.
So crazy how things come full circle.
Right? I know, it's so true.
And Catherine, you're a Stanford grad, right? You're a Stanford grad, you're a strategist, you're a storyteller, and now the creator behind CatGPT. With so many roles in motion, what keeps you grounded in why you do this work?
In why I do this work.
Yeah.
I loved my Stanford experience, but I think there's this problem at Stanford where everybody gets kind of typecast as you're either fuzzy or you're techie. And to be honest, when I went to college, that was the first time I was even introduced to that kind of polarity.
That's an interesting one.
And the way that we try to put people in buckets, and I think that especially here in Silicon Valley, we put a premium on people who are on the techie side of that spectrum. And that was really hard for me. And I felt like, wait a second, because like I said, I was making videos when I was a kid. I was in a high school TV program, and I'm like, but I'm smart though. But everyone's acting like just because I'm not studying computer science that I'm not. I don't know about that. And so, to get back to your question about like what keeps me grounded is, I just think about when I'm making content for my audience and I'm getting ready to talk about a complex topic in AI or break something down or give my take on a new model or tech situation, I just think, how would I have wanted somebody to speak to me when I was in college?
So good.
And not treat me like I'm stupid, because I'm not.
Yeah.
But I might not
bridge the gap
know.
for me.
Exactly. I might not yet know the thing that you're talking about. So like, help me understand, but don't do it in a way that makes me feel stupid.
Yeah.
And I think as long as I can thread that needle, that seems to be what resonates the most.
And I think you do so good at breaking things down but not chastising people in the process. Like, I appreciated that so much about Catherine's content, and if you haven't seen it, please log into your TikTok, log into your socials. CatGPT, it's a gem, you guys. I love that one. And Catherine, you talk a lot about demystifying AI, right? But you also model a kind of creative courage in doing so. So what's one internal narrative you had to rewrite in order to step into that kind of visibility?
Yeah. I mean, I think because the topic of CatGPT is centered more or less around AI, I think the internal narrative that I had to rewrite or own is like, I can be a tech person.
Yeah.
I am a tech person. Just because I don't have a career writing code,
Yes,
or I didn't get a master's degree in machine learning, does not mean that I don't deserve a seat at this table. That's baseline. That's step one. Then you gotta believe, oh, not only do I have a right to have a seat at the table, I have a right to like command the room. Is a whole other leap. So I think that between those two, owning that. And you know what's funny about it is in the very beginning when I started making videos, I used to introduce myself with my pedigree. Oh, I went to Stanford. Oh, I studied
have to
this.
give myself
I led this. Exactly. And what I realized is very quickly, people don't care about that. On the internet, it's like, if you can hook me, if you can tell me a great story, if you can make me feel seen, I could give less of a whatever where you went to school. And it's, you know, so that's been nice.
I love that, because I feel like so many people need to rewrite the narrative of what that smart or techie person looks like in their mind.
Yeah,
like
sure.
we can have duality.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah, especially for women. I think that was such a major like lesson that you just dropped. So I love that. And then, you know, you teach people how to unlock AI, but what's something that you're still unlocking in yourself right now? Because you've tackled so many things, it sounds like, at least identity-wise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's a forever evolution. Like it never ends. It's always ongoing. I think one of the things that I'm unlocking right now, and it's actually been so great to be here because I'm meeting so many other creators and having this conversation with like everyone who will listen, is I love what CatGPT has become, and I love getting to talk about AI, but I also think there's so much here. And like we talked about, it's like that ability to speak to people and make them feel seen and feel heard and make them feel like they can really do anything.
For sure.
Doesn't necessarily just have to be about AI. So one thing I'm trying to unlock right now is what is, you know, Act 2 of CatGPT look like, and how does it involve more than just AI?
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer to that question is yet, but if you have thoughts, drop them in the comments.
Please.
I feel like there's a lot here, and I'm just kind of starting to pull at the threads of like whatever's next.
Yeah, I feel like talking to Catherine right now is like digging for gold, so feel free to drop any questions in the comments that we can shoot to her really quick. But right now it sounds like you're building a new identity and taking that into a new step, so I love that. I can't wait. I'm watching. Babe, I am a viewer, okay? I am invested, babe. Okay. And Catherine, really, you remind us that AI doesn't have to be intimidating, and I think that's what I love so much about your content, and all of us love so much about your content. So AI can really be a tool for reflection and expansion and even joy, and you show that so beautifully. So what's one truth that you hope people carry with them as they step into this new era of creativity?
I think I the truth that I hope people internalize is not only do you not need to be a tech expert to play in this space, these tools are actually best for people who are not tech experts. If you clock it. If you did not grow up in this space, if you didn't go to Stanford, if you don't work in Silicon Valley, good. Like, all the better. Your insight, your perspective that you bring from whatever your profession is, your expertise, your passion, that is what is so enriching in this space right now, because there are no experts and we are all learning from scratch. Anybody who tells you otherwise is lying to your face or doesn't understand what being an expert actually is, because we're all learning together. And I think the people who have come together right now to just like play and have fun are discovering things about themselves and their passions that they might have not even realized were there, or they're feeling like this unlock come about from things that they thought were interesting when they were kids and they just haven't picked up because they haven't had permission. And it's been so fascinating to see how AI is kind of like this tool that is starting to unlock that for so many people. And that's the one thing I would say.
I love. She's just destabilizing the industry right now to me. Okay,
you just get me excited, and I like.
She's like, all the things that they told you aren't going to work are working. Use them.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this, Catherine. This is beautiful, and I guess I'll ask you also, what is your favorite thing to do with AI right now?
Oh, my favorite thing to do with AI right now.
Hopefully it's more interesting, because I've just been making my grocery list, so you have to give us something better than
Okay,
that.
I've been doing that too, though, and that's actually super, super useful. Because it'll, yeah, that's a whole other thing. It's very useful though. I've decided I'm gonna start eating healthy, so I didn't know where to start, and ChatGPT has been very useful. I think the most interesting thing I'm doing with AI right now is kind of like being my hype man. You know, my life has changed a lot in the last 6 months, even just 2 months. You know, quit my full-time job, doing content creation full-time, and
congrats.
Thank you. And like taking that leap, you know, there's a lot of like humanity and vulnerability that comes with all that of like, okay, buckle up, we're doing the thing, no looks back, and I think just being able to talk it out with a language model who has been specifically designed to reflect me back at me is actually exactly what I need to kind of process these big life choices and ask for feedback, and honestly just like have something reflect my own thoughts back to me, worded in a slightly different way.
I absolutely love that. You make me feel seen right now because I nicknamed my ChatGPT Donna. So and I'm like, hype me up, Donna. Let's get into this. So this is great. I'm not in this alone.
Wait, what does Donna call you though?
She calls me Aaliyah.
Oh, okay.
She calls me Aaliyah, but she's starting to talk like me. She's like, you got this, babe. I'm like, she puts my babes on the end. She says, clock it back to me now. I'm like, wow, I use these phrases too much.
She's gonna start doing this.
Yeah,
she's gonna grow arms and start doing the little girl.
Getting scary, but I love it.
Yeah.
And to wrap it up for the people, Catherine, just tell them where they could find you, where they could follow you. Let's stay tuned to this journey.
Very easy. It's Ask CatGPT, like ChatGPT without the H, on Instagram and TikTok.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
So follow Kat's journey. I'm sure she'll drop way more gems than this on her personal stories, TikToks, LinkedIn.
Definitely.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us. We are going to go into the next talk soon, so stay tuned.
Bye. Thank you. This is so fun. You're so good at this.
First of all, you're so good at this.
Oh my God.